Welcome back to part two of What's in Your Leadership Backpack. I'm just making this title up in the moment. Shannon's Journey to the Hills of California for Leadership Learning. If you didn't catch the first one, it's right before this. Check that out. And we're checking in with Shannon on what that was like out in California.
Yeah, and I think before anyone gets any ideas, I should just say that it was very rainy,
Mm.
slightly cold, and that there was no alcohol involved at this particular learning. Because, people think California, you must be out in the hills, like, you know,
I
San.
love I love that you're busting up some assumptions that maybe is here. And so, as what was it like? What was another tool or lesson that you learned out there?
Yeah, so something that we spent the entire time working on and learning about through some amazing leaders that we had facilitate this particular retreat was about how leadership lives in the body. And so, for anyone who's listening, watching, who's done any work with somatics or embodiment, that's the land that we were playing in during this particular retreat. And what it had me think about, and what I want you to think about too, Conrad, is when you are in a leadership um like action, like we believe that we're leaders all the time. But when certain things happen as leaders or when we're in leadership, we know that we get an urge to act, right? And then we make a decision about if we're going to stay or if we're going to do something about it,
Hmm.
right? And we're always taking responsibility for impact. This is something that you can all listen to in a previous episode, and we'll have it linked below. But when it comes to the body and how leadership lives in the body, it's about getting in touch and developing awareness. One piece of it, there are many pieces. Developing awareness around what does it feel like in your body to
Mm.
feel that urge, right? What does it feel like in your body to stay? And quite honestly, a lot of us and many of the people I work with are incredibly uncomfortable when they have to stay instead of launch into action. What does it feel like to launch into action? And then what does it feel like in your body when you have to take responsibility for impact, right?
Mm.
So imagine like something really goes awry.
Yeah.
Say something, it's in service of what you're working on. You're in your full leadership authority, full leadership acceptance, and it just doesn't go well. What
Hmm.
happens in your body, Conrad, when that happens?
I notice it in my gut, typically like a uncomfortable burning sometimes, or an uncomfortable um, frequency of fear, or yes, it's hard to put into words, and I can point to that feeling of just like, ew,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
ugh.
And what's the impact of that?
Well, even saying that now and connecting with that, it takes me out of, it takes me out. It
Hmm.
takes me out of a relationship. I lose focus on what we're up to here, what the purpose is. Um, yeah, the best way to say is it takes me out of conversation, out of relationship, and makes me want to, my particular version, avoid, run, um, resist.
Yeah. 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 So you actually fall out of leadership and into
Yes.
action, right? And so
Hmm.
just as our bodies can give us information that tells you like, oh, this might be scary, this might be dangerous, I'm uncomfortable, right? We can also train our bodies to be open, to be in relationship, to have a different response to that same kind of signal or what we might call like a grab.
Yes.
You get
And
grabbed.
use that as actually information and fuel to
Yeah.
move forward and recover back to what we're up to and what we're into and what we're in a relationship about, as Shannon said, back into leadership.
Yeah. We, I think as humans, we like to try to think ourselves out of our problems a lot. We use our brains a lot to do that. And what really came out of this particular retreat were lots of tools to help point us to how our body can also be a tool for helping us move through our problems, right? Move through our feelings, get unstuck. So
I wasn't there, and I wish I was because it sounds amazing. And as we close, I'm reminded of in the coactive model, there's the cornerstone of focus on the whole person, and that's what we want to invite you into as an orientation for the weeks and months ahead. Focus on the whole person of you because there's information throughout, and the body has information. Your brain is magnificent, of course, and there's so much more when we tap into the wholeness of us as leaders.
yeah, awesome summary. Thanks so much, Conrad.
Thank you. Be
We'll see you all
well.
next time.